Right, thanks a lot for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Now to our next line of discussion. The Central Bank of Nigeria has revoked the licenses of 4,173 bureau the change operators, this due to non-compliance with regulatory provisions. The bank emphasized the need for operators to pay all necessary fees and renew their licenses within the stipulated period as per the guidelines. The CBN also expects compliances with its directives and circulars. Now, this action, the action of delisting BDCs, that is, was carried out by the powers conferred under the BOFIA Act of 2020, as well as the revised operational guidelines for bureaus, the Change 2015, and that's what we will be discussing, what this portends for the CBN's drive to revamp the economy and rescue the Naira. Basically, joining us at this time now is development economist and investment banking executive, Dr. Nnaemeka Obiaraeri. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you. I wonder what you make of this form of intervention by the CBN. First, given, or I think delisting BDC, certain thousands of BDC operators, and now providing dollars to those ones who passed this cleanup exercise, so to speak. How do you view these efforts by the Apex Bank?
I think it's a very good move. I don't understand why we had that number of BDCs in the system in the first instance. And by putting down the numbers, and then remember that the BDCs do not print dollar. The BDCs do not earn dollar by way of exports. The BDCs are only secondary market windows through which retail users of FX can source for it. Of course, they receive allocations or they source for dollar through different sources of their own. I think it's not just enough pulling them down. The CBN should also create digital windows through which they can monitor the activities of the BDCs. It is no-brainer. Create digital windows and platforms where the BDCs on a daily basis will upload their transactions. And again, they should make it more stringent. The BDCs on a daily basis must upload record of what they sold, who they sold to. Anybody that's selling dollar to must provide evidence of name, PIN, BVN, and then passport photographs. And it is very, very important. And the purpose for which the dollar is being purchased must be documented. And it must be uploaded every day, every week, every month, so that the CBN will be able to monitor the usage of those dollars that have been allocated to them, or those they source independently. And number two, and which is very, very critical, and which we must also not lose sight of, one of the ways, apart from monitoring them and ensuring that they provide most of this information, the CBN is also taking urgent steps to ensure that every person that has deposit in the money bank must link their BVN and their name, if possible, even 10 to 8. And above all, the CBN should also persuade the federal government of Nigeria through the presidency to send in an executive bill that will make it a criminal offense punishable with 2 years imprisonment without option of fine. Anybody seen with more than $1,000 cash within the system. We are not saying you should not own dollar assets. Open your dollar account, put the dollar inside your account. If you're coming into Nigeria, you're coming from the UK, you have £5,000. As you get to the entry point, negotiate whatever rates after all the bans have been removed. Pay the dollar or the pound sterling into your account, your dollar account. Take Naira at whatever rate you agree with the buyers, and which is very, very good. And again, above that, we should also ensure every dollar outflow out of the system must be backed by documentary evidences. Document letter of credit from M's, from A's, and if possible, get another from C. That will make it whatever you're, even if you earn dollar, you want to go and buy property anywhere, you must indicate, and it must pass through the CBN portal. By this way, CBN will mirror every incoming and outgoing dollar, whether cash or transfers or whatever means. It will help them to be able to manage this economy very efficiently. As of today, and we can also give 1 month grace window. If you have your dollar cash, those that have stashed away millions of dollar cash, tens of millions of dollar cash under their basements, in their rooms, in their stockaways, You have 1 month grace. Bring it in. Nobody is going to query you. EFCC will not arrest you. DSS will not come after you. It's 1 month grace. If after 1 month grace we don't bring it in and the federal government finds it, you will go to jail and it will be confiscated. And again, we should also amend the CCB Act to intron the whistleblowing provision of 20% return on anybody that blows a whistle. Let me tell you what will happen. If when you do it and every Nigerian know that they will make 20% of whatever they have to recover by blowing whistle, everybody will become an EFCC agent. And what is simply that even the driver that helped you to carry that bag of dollar to go and hide in your bedroom will blow the whistle. After all, a guy is not giving him part of the money for him to make that money. It's a no-brainer that Nnaemeka is trying his utmost best with some of the measures that are taken. He must go extra mile. They should go extra mile to apply some of these honest suggestions that we have brought forth.
Interesting. Recall that the EFCC had recently launched a clampdown on street trading of foreign exchange by BDCs, in a multi-pronged approach, which they, by the authorities to address irregularities in the forex market. And then some people came out to say that that wasn't the right thing to do. Some economists said, no, that wasn't going to help. Someone like the CEO of Financial Derivatives, didn't see it as a positive drive, while others said this was a good thing to have been done. But how would you assess this? Do you feel that this is now having positive impact on what the CBN, the drive for the CBN to salvage what is left of the Naira?
For me, I believe that you don't achieve anything through impunity and lawlessness. As of today, there is no law in Nigeria that prohibits anybody from holding dollar cash of whatever amounts that he wants to hold as long as he legitimately earns it. So cracking down on people that are selling dollar, even if they are hawking it under the tree, it is their dollar. You did not prove any evidence that they stole the dollar. So why not us go the extra hawk to provide a legal backing on this? Get an executive with the National Assembly, pass it. Anybody seen with any dollar cash above $1,000 is a criminal offense, punishable by 2 years imprisonment without option of fine, and such dollar will be confiscated and handed over to the state into the virtual account. When you do it, those that are hanging under the tree selling dollar will disappear. You don't need anybody. You don't need anybody to hunt them. In fact, the people that will hunt them will be the people. In fact, everybody will become a stink EFCC agent because there's a law in place. So somebody can actually play a sting on them and say, okay, hey, I want to exchange $5,000. I want to buy $5,000. And they bring out the money. The person arrests them. Citizens add action and collects his 20%. So when there is a law in place, let me tell you, one of the ways you fight corruption and strengthen the economy is through providing deterrence. The law is not there to kill anybody. Laws are not meant to destroy. Laws are meant to aid to societal well-being and to build a society that is prosperous for everybody. Put these simple laws in place. Provide the whistleblowing act. And if possible, go the extra hog in order developing economies. Public office requires transparency and accountability. If you're a private company that decides to go to the stock exchange to quote publicly, you are expected to declare your statement of accounts every quarter. Every public office holder should declare their assets and liability publicly. In an e-portal, you give them a code that they will use to upload it before they enter into office. Every year, they will update it. This will help Nigerians to be able to also, citizen advocacy, monitor what they are doing. Let me tell you, if you don't want the heat, don't go to the kitchen. If you don't want your private life probed, don't enter public office. After all, it's a call to serve. I don't understand why somebody is coming to serve and he doesn't want to be very transparent. You stay away. Those who want their life to be very transparent and accountable should come and serve. After all, it's not a call to come and steal and loot. It's a call to come and serve selflessly.
Right. Dr. Obiaraeri, well, there is also, while the CBN is talking about clamping down on manipulators, on speculators, what about, the banking industry? Does it appear to you that perhaps do you think that the CBN also needs to come down hard on, these leakages, on these manipulators within the banking industry too?
That one is a no-brainer. It's 110% given that without the activities of the cowboys in the financial services sector, not just the banking industry, even in the financial capital market, right, without the cowboys in the system, There's no way any public office holder, either civil servant or political office holder, will be able to launder money. Financial intermediation provides an avenue. And the CBN is actually doing a lot in that area by insisting, because I was shocked to hear that there are over 28 million accounts or thereabouts in the banking system that does not have BVN and NIN and TIN linked to it. The CBN must insist and stand on their stand that you must link your BVN and your NIN to your account. And again, like I said, when these laws are passed, some of these recommendations that we have been pushing over time, we don't even need to clamp down on them. The bank personnel themselves, the junior staff, the middle level management staff, we no longer dance to the tune of their organs. Because if somebody knows that he's going to blow whistle and you make 20%, is a middle level, a lower level staff on a salary of 5 million naira a year, and he has the opportunity of blowing a whistle about money that are transferred out 1 billion that is stolen, and you will make 200 million naira. What is this thing doing in the banking system? You will blow the whistle, collect the money, and walk away. So when there is deterrence, everybody will sit up. People will know there are going to be consequences for every action. And, it is a no-brainer. And number two, the CBN also must set up a crack team of forensic investigators, a department, not less than 200. EFCC, the same thing. Fighting corruption is not by gra-gra. It's not by brawn. It's intelligence. It is skills. It is tracking the money. EFCC should also set up a special department in their unit with at least 100, 200 special forensic investigators, people who understand how money can be tracked. What you do, the governors have immunity, and we know how monies are laundered. The EFCC chairman even admitted that between 2018 and 2020, over 2.9 trillion was stolen at the federal level through over-invoicing. How do you track it? When they award the contracts, we know what they do. They over-invoice it, and the person that got the contract will shift their own portion to them. Track the money. When they award those contracts, let that special team. CBN has a window that sees everything that happens in the banking industry. Track the money. If the money leaves the system, where is the money going to? When those contractors and everybody within the system know that there is no hiding place, this economy, see, let me tell you, the twin demons destroying the economy is corruption and insecurity. Nigerians are not less. Nigerians are willing to go into productive work to make this economy one of the top 10 biggest economies within the next 5 years. But we must crack corruption. We must crack down on insecurity. And we
Dr. Obiaraeri, are you still there? Can you hear me? All right, it appears we're having some network connectivity issues with our guest, and he had been speaking. Dr. Obiaraeri, you're back. We lost,
yes,
some of your points, some of the points you made. If you could go back a bit.
Okay. I said clearly that apart from one of the ways they launder money is through contract over invoicing. The EFCC chairman said it's totally clear that between 2018 and 2020, over 2.9 trillion was stolen at the federal level through one overhead alone, over invoicing of contracts. And I said CBN should set up a department with not less than 100, 200 forensic investigators manning it. EFCC, the same thing, a special department manned by forensic investigators, not less than 100. And what do? Once the contracts are awarded at any level, CBN mirrors and sees everything that happens within the system. Follow the money. The governors have the immunity. When you follow the money and you track the money, and the contractors know that there is no hiding place, and that they cannot launder the money without being caught, everybody will stay away. Like I said, the twin demons destroy Nigeria today are the demons of corruption and the demons of insecurity. Insecurity, once corruption is slain, insecurity will die. Because I do not see the reason why we wasted over $27 billion between 2015 and 2023. And yet, insecurity festered beyond my northeast to every part of Nigeria. Like I said, deterrence is the best form of anti-corruption fight. Added to what Nnaemeka also is doing, if the physical side, the presidency, will help him by putting in place some of these measures, some of these suggestions that we have made, which is very altruistic and honest, I tell you, in the next 5 years, this economy will be a top 10 economy in the whole world.
I wonder how this law, which you said that they should make a criminal offense for anyone to hold above 100 US dollar, that it should be made a criminal, because we understand and we know that some public officials, the only thing they spend is, they don't even want to have anything to do with Naira. The only thing they spend is dollars. So how do you think this kind of law, because we have laws in this country, implementation is another thing. How do you think this can sail through?
Just listen again. I said, when you pass a law banning use of dollar cash above $1,000, and you enshrine the whistleblowing provision in the CCB Act, making it compulsory, if you blow a whistle and the whistle is used to recover money or whatever asset, whatever value of the assets recovered or not recovered, you will get 20%. When you do it, like you said, every Nigerian become an EFCC agent. Your driver, your cook, your domestic staff, everybody becomes. See, let me tell you, one of the ways, if you put a CCTV in a room and the CCTV is working 24/7 and you drop your cash on your table, even if you have an enemy as a thief living in your house, he or she will not touch it, because there is a CCTV clearly that will decode when the money is taken, real time, on time. So some of these measures are there to deter people from doing. See, let me tell you, the truth is, one of the ways they launder money in Nigeria is either buying dollar or laundering in properties. And I forgot to add, we should also amend the relevant laws. For you to register any property in Nigeria, you must include your BVN, your TIN, and your name. Even assets, high-end assets, you must include them. Luxury assets, you must include them. When you do it, even people, sometimes you go to CAC, you see a company and directors, you look at the number of directors. They are fictitious names used by money launderers to set up an SPV to clear their monies. But when you include those provisions, it's very easy for the EFCC to take the BVN from the company's CAC operation, put it into the system, and see what is happening here. Let me tell you, laws are meant to deter. Laws are not meant to destroy anybody. Laws are meant to build a better society. And the best form of anti-corruption fight is the one that requires intelligence and deterrence.
Dr. Obiaraeri, let's put you on hold and take a break. We'll return and continue with this conversation. Thank you.
Now, all of us like to chop better food. Food where they make body tranga and vegetables where fresh like say tomorrow not day. We want make the chocolate sweet the way we go like them. No cubes. That be the secret. Then make them with correct ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, plenty iron corn full and palm to make your chocolate palm bar for you. Come the sweet well. That be the cocoa. Make we carry salute, throw away give no.
Change your world by changing waiting day your plate.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Milo!
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel.
TVC News. First with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. Over the past 20 minutes or thereabout, we've been speaking with Dr. Nnaemeka Obiaraeri, a development expert, a development economist, and an investment banking executive. And he has been speaking in reaction to the revocation of licenses of more than 4,000 BDCs in Nigeria as part of the measures being embarked upon by the CBN to rescue the Naira. But, Dr. Obiaraeri, there's been a kind of a division amongst analysts, experts within this financial system, talking about that, what exactly, trying to identify the real cause of the problem. Yes, you've spoken about corruption, as one of the twin evils, but then they're also talking about the absence of liquidity. A crop of advisors are saying that the real problem lies with the aspect of liquidity and not exactly the issue of these people creating distortions in the system.
I agree with you. There's the issue of liquidity. And liquidity comes from paucity of the supply of the dollar within the system. And of course, the leakages. And if you look at the net records of dollar inflow and dollar outflow that came into Nigeria over the last 8 years, net, we had excess of $185 billion that could not be accounted for because there were a lot of leakages. What Nnaemeka also is trying to do is to ensure that there are no leakages again from the system unaccounted for. And again, he's also trying to use the monetary policy rate to see if he can attract foreign portfolio investors, which is also hurting the real sector economy in Nigeria. But of course, it's a panicking measures just to help him stabilize over the short term. But on the longer term, even the immediate short term, the federal government of Nigeria and the states, they have a lot to do to ensure that we have security in place for farmers to go to work so that we will not have food insecurity. And again, our major foreign earner in Nigeria today is the crude oil. Prior to 2015, we were doing about average of about 2.3 million barrels a day, crude oil plus condensate. For whatever reason, under Buhari, the volume disappeared, and we started having about 1 million or 1.3 thereabouts. And we were even meant to understand by the current GMB of NNPC that on a monthly basis, over $1.9 billion worth of food were either lost to thieves, to inefficiencies, or to other form of losses. So what do we do in the immediacy to ramp up output? Nigeria has technical capacity to produce about 2.3 million barrels. And why are we not pushing to make sure that we begin to ramp up output and protect the oil assets to ensure that at least we'll earn enough crude oil? And then set up the system in a very transparent way so as to attract foreign diaspora remittances, which is very, very key. Our diasporans can easily remit about $50 to $100 billion annually if we put in place the right physical and the structural arrangement that will attract them. Go to Abia State and see what is happening here. I have had privileges of having sessions with some of diaspora groups, Nidwa America, Nidwa Asia, even some group of top professional medical doctors, and everybody is heading to Abia. Power is already there based on geometric and what they are doing. And the governor has built a lot of social and confidence capital among the people. These are the kind of things we expect the political office holders, especially the governors in the various states. When you build that social and confidence and trust capital, investors will troop into your state. Diasporas, we don't even need foreign direct investment that are not backed with trust. Our diasporas can do it. I say to anybody who cares to listen, our diasporas can easily, there's no diaspora that is a medical doctor or professional that cannot easily borrow $20,000 to $50,000 within his domain to invest here in Nigeria. And they can do it. They will need to put in place the fiscal.
Dr. Nnaemeka. All right.
Actualize this.
Okay.
Doctor, are you back?
I'm here.
It appears so.
Right, fantastic. Yeah, so about three people precisely were sent to 3 years imprisonment. Bureau de change operators for illegally dealing with foreign currency without a proper license, and that brings me to the stats which the cable reported, saying that between 2005 and 2006 there were about 100 BDCs in Nigeria, as against the 5,690 we had before the suspension of the more than 4,000 of them. So they said there were names like Rice and Beans Limited, Deep Freezer Limited. The question is, how did these funny names make the registration of the BDCs in the first place? And what measures do you think we can, because sometimes we tend to take a step further and then we take several steps backward. How do you think the CBN can ensure on the gains that is recording against the Bureau de change operators and the drive to salvage the Naira against the greenback?
The question of how those names came to be is a question you put in the former CBN governors. It's not a question that you put Nnaemeka. Nnaemeka is trying his best to clean up the system. So it was the former CBN. It's a question you should put to former CBN leadership from 2011 till now to know how those names came to be and how those numbers came to be in the books. And of course, it's also the issue of nepotism and cronyism, which we need to stop. Nigeria will work better when we put merit and excellence in the front burner before considering any. And nepotism is the worst form of corruption. It destroys the system faster than Ebola destroys a human being. So we need to ask those questions. And like I said, this other ones that are allowed to stay in the system, measures should be taken to checkmate them. And I bear repeating myself again. Create a digital platform where they must upload who they buy and who they sell FX to. Whoever they buy from, whoever they sell from to, they must include the BVN, the NIN, and the TIN, and the passports of the people that they sell to. And they must be accountable for it. And again, ban use of dollar cash above $1,000. Those BDCs should be transferring online. It is easier to track monies that are digitally transferred than the one that you do by cash transfers. One of the easiest way to launder money is cash movement. So I think Kemi is trying to do his possible best. The executive arm of government, the fiscal managers, should support him. The question of how those names came to be is something you will ask those who were in the system before now.
All right. We'd like to say a very big thank you to you, Dr. Nnaemeka Obiaraeri, development economist, for your contributions on TVC Breakfast this morning. Thanks again.